Hey, there's someone coming up to drive. I think we have a visitor.
Who is it, Connor?
It looks like Win.
I don't believe it.
Hi, Win. Hey, stay there. Martha will be right down.
Hi, Win.
Hello, Martha. I heard about what happened to you last night. I feel so awful about it.
Hey, don't feel bad. I was just in the wrong place at the wrong time.
I shouldn't have left you.
I shouldn't have gone into the school. Come on up to my room. You're just in time to help me wrestle into my clothes.
Okay. I'm sorry about your arm.
Yeah, I'm gonna look great for the party tomorrow with this cast on. You'll have to sign it. You should hear that.
As they started up, Connor came in the front door and stood at the foot of the stairs watching them. Win's eyes were darting nervously all around. When she reached the landing, she stared in silence at all the doorways and then headed straight for the back bedroom. Connor followed them up quietly.
Oh, not that room, Win. I'm in this room for now.
Oh, I'm just so used to going to Elizabeth's room.
Well, I just feel too weird about that room. I've traded with Connor. How did you get out here, anyway?
I borrowed Greg's car. He doesn't know about it yet.
It must be so hard for you to come back in here. To remember? You know, if you don't want to...
No, I have to do it. If I don't get this figured out, I'll spend my whole life with a blank page in my mind. Martha, why did you ask me yesterday what I thought had happened to Dennis?
What are the chances of his still being alive?
Oh, alive?
Here, sit down on the bed.
It's possible, isn't it, Win? They never found him. If he was crazy enough to kill Elizabeth, couldn't he still be out there, thinking somehow that she's still alive? Win, isn't that possible?
If he were alive, I'd know. He'd try to contact me somehow. He always talked to me about Elizabeth because he knew how close the two of us were. And he didn't kill her, I know it.
Well, yeah, how can you be so sure?
He didn't want her going with Blake, that's all. Any more than Blake wanted him going back to Elizabeth. They were always rivals in girls and basketball and
So Dennis was pretty possessive?
Yes.
And had a bad temper?
Yes.
So they could have had an argument and Dennis could have lost his temper and done something violent?
I guess so, but couldn't anyone have done that? And when Dennis found out she'd been killed, he killed himself? Couldn't it have been a coincidence that his car went off the bridge? Or couldn't the same person have killed them both?
Win, that's pretty far-fetched.
And no more far-fetched than calling Dennis a murderer. Connor, don't you see I have to try to remember for Dennis's sake? All the doctors I went to, they couldn't make me remember. But now this house is back in my life again, and it's like it was meant to be. Like somehow Elizabeth and Dennis want me to find out what really happened. Oh, this sounds so silly.
No, it isn't silly. We'll help you. Why don't we go downstairs and I'll rustle up some soup and sandwiches?
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Oh, that was good. Thanks, I feel better.
Well, if this rain doesn't get any worse, I might get those shutters finished today. Oh, by the way, Martha, I boarded up that panel in your closet.
I thought you did that before.
That's probably what caused the drafts. Made it so cold in that room.
Oh, yeah. Win, did you know that there's a secret door inside the closet in my old room?
Of course I know about it. I haven't thought about it all this time. There's supposed to be all kinds of secret tunnels and things here. Elizabeth's father told us. But we weren't allowed to use them. He boarded up the one in Elizabeth's room, but...
But what?
Well, Elizabeth tore it down, so Dennis could use it.
No fool, Dennis. Was he the only one who knew about it?
And Blake.
Blake?
Yeah, she told him, too, when she started going out with him. There was one secret way from the cellar to the study, and one from the attic to the pantry.
Was there one that led outside?
Oh, I don't know.
No, I mean another way someone could get into the house.
I don't know.
Hey, it's okay. You're doing fine.
If only I could bring it all back.
Now, tomorrow's Halloween. Let's go back to Halloween night a year ago. Can you see it? Is it too painful?
I'll try.
We'll help you.
Okay. We all went to the party at school that night. Elizabeth was really mad because she'd gotten another crazy phone call. She said she'd had it with Dennis. He was just too immature. And Blake was mad, too, hoping Dennis would be there so he could let him have it once and for all. Oh, but they weren't really serious. They were more interested in having a good time.
So you were all there?
Yeah. Well, you didn't have to have a date or anything. Blake and Elizabeth kind of made themselves scarce. Everyone was supposed to unmask
It was a
at midnight.
costume party?
Yeah, just like we have every year.
Did anybody actually see Dennis come in? Could they recognize him?
I did. He asked me if Elizabeth was there. I told him she was with Blake, and Dennis looked really angry and walked off. I didn't see him again for a while, and then Elizabeth and Blake had a fight.
About what? Dennis?
I'm not sure. But Greg came up to the refreshment table and told me Blake had stormed out of the gym. Greg went out looking for him, and I started to look for Elizabeth, but I couldn't find her. Well, there are just so many people all in costume.
Okay, so what did you do then?
I was scared. I went out to go get Greg, and then I saw them in Dennis's car, pulling out of the parking lot.
Who?
Dennis and Elizabeth. I yelled, and Elizabeth leaned out the window and said they were only going to her house to talk and not to tell Blake because he'd be mad. She said they needed to get something straight, and they'd be right back.
So you covered for her.
I lied to Greg. I told him Elizabeth had gotten sick, and we were going to go to my house for a while.
What'd you do then?
I went home. Just for a while, my folks were out. And then I went back to school and sat in Greg's car waiting for Elizabeth.
For how long?
I don't know, about an hour. Then Blake came up in his car. He looked upset. His clothes were all wet, and he just sat there for a long time staring. And then he got out and went back into the gym.
And Elizabeth wasn't back yet?
No. And I was really starting to panic. I went in and told Greg and Blake the truth, that she wasn't with me at all.
And where had Blake been?
He said he'd just driven around for a while, and then he'd left his car and walked in the rain. Oh, he was furious I'd let Elizabeth go like that. I have never seen him so mad. I felt awful. Elizabeth trusted me. I could have stopped her. And she died.
But you didn't know, and it wasn't your fault.
What happened when you got here, to the house?
It took us a long time. Blake was driving, and we had a flat tire, and we were all yelling at each other.
Okay, so you're at the house. What do you do now? Let's go into the hall, Win. Try to remember what you did.
It was storming when we got here. Blake started banging on the door. It was locked, and there was only one light on in Elizabeth's room. But Greg broke a window on the terrace, and we got inside.
That's it, Win. You go ahead.
Oh.
We're right here with you. Let her go on her own, Martha.
Blake kept yelling, "Don't let her go up there." And Greg tried to grab me, but I went faster, and I started for the stairs.
Connor, maybe we better stop.
Shh. Then what, Win?
I went up, and the light was on, but I couldn't see anyone, and I think I called her name. She didn't answer. Oh, it was so quiet, and I kept saying her name, Elizabeth, Elizabeth, but she wouldn't answer.
Connor, we can't let her go in there.
Leave her. She's got to do this.
I went into a room, and
You're in her room
and-
now. What do you see, Win?
She's lying here on the bed, and her mouth is open. But I can't hear her screaming. And the room is so red. It's so red, and it's wet, and and she doesn't look like Elizabeth anymore.
Win,
She
what are you
doesn't look
looking
like
at?
Elizabeth
What's
anymore.
over there?
The closet, it's open. The door is open.
What do you see?
The dark, it's so long. It lasts forever. It just
What's
goes
dark?
on.
Win,
It just
did the
goes
lights go out that night?
It goes on.
How
and
long?
on.
How long did it last?
I can't remember. I can't remember. I can't remember.